Welcome back to our fourth and final segment of our personal safety series. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. So, for this series, we've been talking a little bit about personal safety, just that overall awareness, some basic tips, basic things to think about to help deter and maybe keep yourself a little more safe and not become the victim of some type of a crime. So, we've talked a little bit about things we can do at home, things when we're just out on the town, what we need to think about and be aware of. And then, of course, when we travel, which is, of course, bigger and broader, what we need to think about. So, today I wanted to share with you there are some universal symbols out there that different groups have identified to be aware of. That can be things that can help you if you're in a situation that's a little scary or something's going on, or maybe you see something that you question or want to get somebody some help. So, calling 911 is not always the best response or an option in some situations. And if we're dealing with someone who does happen to be in an abusive situation, sometimes it can put them in more immediate danger. And we need to find a way to help them more, whether it's a little more circumspect, where everybody's not aware, or we need to get a little more information before we can follow up on that. So sometimes we can just call that person if somebody we're concerned with, and we want to make sure we ask them yes or no questions. Um, and we can ask, would you like me to get in touch with the shelter? And they can say yes or no. If you're communicating by text, you want to be very vague, because we don't want to set off or cause an issue with an abuser when we're trying to help someone. And so it can become a very sticky situation. And I know some of you know people or have been the people in these situations, and it can be a lot to manage and to deal with. And those of us on the outside of it who want to be helpful, who want to do something to help keep them safe, need to know kind of how to approach that. So something like maybe just, hey, how are you doing? As opposed to, are you being hurt? Where it looks like they've reached out, or that now we've caused them to be put in a bad situation. Um, don't be afraid to consult resources. Domestic violence, there's a hotline that you can call, even if you're not the person in that situation, but you have a friend or family member that you have concerns for. You can call this number and say, hey, I've seen these things. I have a concern. They can give you tips on how to help in those situations and how to reach out to someone who may need help. So there's also some basic signals that should you find yourself in one of these situations, or again, should you see or observe this, you can go, hey, I'm aware of that. I've heard of that. I know what it is. So the universal symbol for help, this is something that came out of a kidnapping victim, and several groups have shared it with looking at, particularly young women, but it's not always just young women that get into these situations or have these things happen to them. Um, but it's a very simple signal. You hold up your hand with your palm facing the person that you're communicating with. I can't get my hand in the screen. There we go. Tuck your thumb into the palm, fold your fingers down over the thumb, kind of trapping it in that motion to put it in there. So making that fist right over the thumb. But just notice that you don't just do it and put it in here like a fist bump, okay? You're going to make that motion, and they may repeat it, okay? It's not just holding the fist. It's a fluid motion to say, hey, I'm in need of help. Okay, so that's something that can be very subtle, but that if we notice it, we're going to need to follow up and say, hey, how can we get this person some help? They also have a program called Angel Shots, and this is clubs, bars, places that serve drinks all around the country. You may see in the restroom, there may be a sign on the back of the stall doors that talks about Angel Shots. And if they go up to the bar and they ask for an angel shot, then that's a discreet way for them to tell the bartender, I need help. I need assistance. And there's actually a whole list. I didn't choose to share all of those with you today, but you can look that up. Or again, if you're in an establishment that recognizes this, they should have a list posted somewhere discreet. But there's specific things, the type of shot you order can tell them, I just need to be walked to my car. I believe someone is here following me. Whatever that piece is of what you need to communicate to them for the type of help you're asking for. So that's a pretty cool, discreet way that can help someone get out of a bad situation. Also, just making a pizza order. If you call 911 and you ask to order a pizza, that dispatcher is immediately going to know that you're in a situation where you can't talk and that you can't tell them everything that's going on. They're going to begin to ask those yes or no questions. So, if you need help, they're going to say, hey, do you need help? Yes. And you can just kind of act like you're ordering that pizza. This is something a lot of domestic violence support groups teach this strategy to their clientele so that they can be more alert when talking to the authorities without tipping off their abusers, because that can be a very scary thing and make a situation even more volatile. Okay, then finally, and this is another one that we hear and we see, and we've seen it on the news, and nobody really says, oh yeah, this is the thing to do, but it is an option if it can, again, be done very discreetly. Sometimes if you see someone, they might have that black dot on their hand somewhere, and make sure that you see that, they show you that, they put it in some place where you get that notification, and that's to signal to a friend or family member or someone that they think is in a situation that might be able to help them when they can't put the words out there, hey, I need help. Can you contact the authorities? And then another one, and again, these come through stories, things that we have seen different groups have endorsed, is just STAN. And so it's an acronym, send the authorities now. And maybe you don't know anyone named Stan, but a friend all of a sudden calls you or they text you and they say, hey, have you heard from Stan? Can you get a hold of Stan for me? And what they're trying to tell you is we need the authorities. Something's going on. Again, it's a discreet signal that they can use to not tip off whoever they're afraid of, whatever that situation is, and hopefully helps have someone identify, hey, they need help to get to safety. So again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service. This has been our series on personal safety, things for you to think about to help yourselves, your friends, and your family members. I hope that you will tune back in here next time for our next series. Or if you have questions or need additional information, please feel free to contact the Curry County Extension Office.